This is United Network News with Sunny Galt, Calen, Kimberly Gogan, and our field messengers from around the world. Here's today's real news. It's Monday, June 9th, 2025, and here are today's stories. Indonesia's economy looks strong on paper, rising GDP, bold government plans, but the country's middle class is quietly shrinking. Field Messenger Wayne returns from Mexico with first-hand insight. Despite claims of visa complications, he found travel surprisingly simple until it was time to come back. A skilled labor shortage is sweeping the U.S., leaving critical jobs unfilled across industries. What's driving the demand, and where are all the workers? In Tasmania's rugged southwest, stunning landscapes await. Amanda takes us on a breathtaking journey through one of nature's best-kept secrets. In Denmark, it's the end of an era. PostNord says letter delivery will stop by late 2025. Why is the Postal Service pulling the plug? And in Norway, eggs are getting scarce and expensive. Veronica and Emma dig into the government rules behind the empty shelves.
Indonesia's economy is on the rise. At least that's what the numbers say. GDP growth is strong, investment is flowing, and the government is rolling out ambitious development plans. But beneath the surface, a troubling trend is unfolding. The country's middle class, long seen as the backbone of consumer spending, is shrinking.
Indonesia's economy grew by more than 5% in 2024, and that pace isn't slowing down anytime soon. The country's growth is being fueled by a mix of large-scale government infrastructure projects, strong export performance, especially in nickel and palm oil, and a young, growing workforce that's helping drive productivity. One of the biggest game changers has been nickel. Indonesia is now the world's top producer, accounting for more than half of the global supply, according to the Institute for Energy Economics and Finance analysis. Rather than just shipping out raw ore, the government banned those exports in 2020 to encourage domestic processing, especially for battery-grade nickel used in electric vehicles. That move has brought in waves of foreign investment and positioned Indonesia as a key player in the global green energy economy. Some economists even say Indonesia is on track to become one of the world's largest economies in the coming decades.
Indonesia will be the third or fourth largest economy in the world by the middle of this century, according to economic projections, potentially beating even the United States in raw economic output. It has a young population of 277 million people, a big advantage in a world of aging and shrinking populations. On top of that, the general shift away from Chinese manufacturing, the country's immense natural resource reserves, and its amazing position at the centre of the world's busiest shipping lanes means it could be poised to become the next industrial superpower. But while the country is full of potential, it's also facing some very serious threats. Natural resources can make or break an economy very quickly, and being able to undercut China won't do it any good if it in turn gets undercut by other regional rivals. Ironically, the country's geography and its demographics, once believed by economists to be its biggest strengths, could turn out to be its undoing.
Despite the impressive GDP numbers, something is off. Consumer spending, typically making up about 57% of the country's GDP, is starting to slow down. In fact, in the first quarter of 2025, the economy posted its slowest growth in 3 years, at just 4.87%, largely because household consumption didn't keep pace. So what's going on? A big part of the issue lies with Indonesia's middle class, the very group that drives everyday spending. Several factors are putting pressure on this group. Wages that haven't kept up with inflation, the rising cost of education and healthcare, skyrocketing housing prices in cities, and persistent underemployment, especially among young people and women. To make matters worse, the benefits of economic growth aren't being shared evenly. Wealth and profits are increasingly concentrated amongst the richest individuals and largest corporations, especially those tied to resource extraction and big infrastructure projects. So, even as the economy grows, much of that prosperity isn't reaching everyday Indonesians.
Beras naik, segala macam, kebutuhan yang harus dibeli naik, listrik juga tidak hemat gitu kan, saya listrik juga naik, dan pajak juga harus ditanggung gitu. Jadi kayak udah kita bekerja makan enak, kita bisa membahagiakan diri sendiri, sekarang juga bekerja harus tetap mikir bagaimana mencukupi kebutuhan gitu. Murah memang bagian terpenting untuk saat ini gitu kan, setelah kami menghadapi perjalanan yang sulit, memang beda sekali sama yang dulu gitu kan. Saya dulu kita bisa makan di luar gitu kan, mungkin malah dulu waktu zaman beberapa tahun lalu kerja mungkin sehari itu pasti harus ada makan junk food, harus beli chat time, maksudnya minuman boba segala macam gitu kan. Sekarang ya udah seminggu sekali aja.
More and more middle-class families in Indonesia are feeling the economic pressure. To give the middle class a much-needed boost and get the economy moving again, the Indonesian government is rolling out a big stimulus package this June and July. They're cutting costs on travel by offering discounts on train, plane, and ferry tickets during the school holidays, plus lowering toll fees for about 110 million drivers. Electricity bills will be slashed by half for nearly 80 million households, and more staple food aid will go out to more than 18 million families.
If Indonesia continues to lose its middle class, the consequences could be serious. The middle class fuels domestic consumption. If families can't afford to invest in education, healthcare, or savings, it not only affects their futures, it puts Indonesia's long-term growth and stability at risk. If you really want to understand a country's true economic health, watch the middle class. It's often the clearest indicator of whether growth is actually reaching everyday people or just benefiting the top.
On 2 recent trips to Mexico, UNN Field Messenger Wayne discovered that no visa was required, which contradicted claims made by some media reports. Although travel into Mexico was straightforward, the process of returning to the United States proved more complicated. Let's hear more from Wayne.
Hi everyone, this is Field Messenger Wayne from Tucson. So there's been a lot in the news lately about that if you're going to travel to Mexico, you need a visa now. But that's not entirely true. I believe if you get on a plane and fly into Mexico, that's quite possible that they would have you fill out the paperwork on the plane before you can get down and go through customs. However, if you go to Mexico as much as I do, and like I do, you know, I've gone twice in the past 14 days since they first announced this, and neither time have I had to have a visa. You know, it depends on your mode of transportation, and then if you're going to drive across, unless you're driving from, you know, the U.S. southern border all the way to, you know, something like 400 or 500 miles deep or beyond, you don't need to stop and do anything. You just drive right through the checkpoint and wave and say hello and have a great day, and you just go about it. In this video, we are just pulling into our Prieta on the southeast outskirts of it. So we're coming back from the farm, and I'm panning off to the east to show you there's a D on that hill over there, and the D is for Douglas, Arizona, because we're that close to the border. I went from Tucson to Hermosillo, which is 300 kilometers south of the border, and again, I didn't need anything, no visa, no nothing. There were a couple of random, you know, checks along the way where they got the National Guard. So Mexico replaced their National Guard. They replaced their federales that they're so famous at hearing about, all the corrupted federales, and they now call them the National Guard, and they all got brand new vehicles, and they're not blue anymore. They're white with red, yellow and brown checkered stripe across the top. But it's 50% the same people, you know, so same stuff. New boss, same as the old boss. That is a look at the central street in Naco, Arizona, coming up to the U.S. border crossing, and what it looks like right as you pull up to the actual crossing. But anyway, so we had a random couple stops, but No, just, hey, I'm going to the doctor and see you, you know. And then I went from Tucson to San Miguel, which is where we have a bunch of family down there, extended family. And same thing, drive across the border, say hi, good morning, hello. No big deal. I got more of a problem coming back into the United States than I did going down to Mexico. So I hope this set everybody at ease a little bit and not buy into the story so much about you can't move and you're restricted and you can't do this and you can't do that, because you can. You just can't. That's my opinion, right? Let's maybe somebody else has gone down and maybe they know different. I don't know, but it's just, this is what happened with me personally. So have a great day. See you next time.
The skilled labor shortage in the United States has become a growing challenge for many industries. From construction to manufacturing, businesses are struggling to find qualified workers to fill essential roles. It's a complex issue, but one thing's for sure. Demand for skilled professionals is higher than ever. So what's behind this labor shortage in the trades?
Experts and employers point to the 2008 recession as a key turning point. During that time, industries like construction and manufacturing saw widespread job losses, forcing many workers to leave the trades. Even though these sectors have been recovering, the gap remains. The U.S. Chamber of Commerce reports 9.8 million job openings, but only 5.9 million unemployed workers, leaving 4 million roles unfilled. Since February 2020, 1.9 million Americans have left the workforce entirely due to early retirements, health concerns, childcare struggles, government aid, and shifting priorities. Adding to the issue, retirements in trades are also outpacing new workers. In fact, according to the U.S. Census Bureau, about a quarter of the manufacturing workforce is 55 or older, and younger generations aren't stepping in fast enough.
All right, what would happen if all the skilled tradesmen actually disappeared one day? Poof, they're all gone. Guess what? Your lights wouldn't turn on. You wouldn't have fresh drinking water. No power, no Monday Night Football. Your roof would leak, bridges would fall into the sea, tunnels wouldn't blow, roads would be unpassable, even your car would break down. Basically, we'd be screwed. Maybe it's a little far-fetched. But how about this statistic? For every 7 to 8 skilled tradesmen retiring, only 1 tradesman is coming out of trade school. Do the math on that statistic. You have a trades gap of millions of jobs that really cannot be fulfilled. Let's promote the skilled trades for the younger generation in our schools. Otherwise, this may become a reality.
Another piece of the puzzle is how the education system has fallen short in addressing the skilled labor shortage. Throughout the years, shop classes have disappeared from schools, leaving students with little exposure to practical skills or trade careers. At the same time, society has pushed 4-year college degrees as the best path to success, causing many to overlook the skilled trades. This focus on college has also shaped public perception, making trade jobs seem less prestigious or worthwhile, which discourages younger generations from pursuing them and contributes to a growing shortage in the industry.
People are leaving high school and then trying to get into college and or university to get into the trades. They're already, and I don't want to call it too late because I never want to say don't do it. Always go, especially if you like it. But in grade 6, if we can do this, where they get to play with all kinds of things, then they know by the time they leave high school, I want to go into this trade.
Well, you get into high school and immediately like, what do you want to do when you're older?
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. I haven't been exposed to anything. I've been doing math, and I remember you doing all these career days, but they don't give you any incentive to be driven towards any career at all, I find. Yeah. So the exposure at such an early age is super important.
Yeah, that's why we do a rotation. It's called a rotation. So we have 18 trade shops now. Mm-hmm. And so what we do is in grade 9, they get to try all the shops. But it's just to get them familiar in the shops. They're looking at what they have to do. Right. And then they decide, they say, hey, listen, you know what? I really like this. Let me try it in grade 10. Let me try it in grade 11.
Which is the beginning of their future.
Employers and educators are starting to step up and bridge the gap. Many companies are partnering with schools to offer part-time work programs where students earn money and academic credit. Shop classes are also making a comeback as industries like plumbing, electrical work, and welding increase recruitment efforts. For example, programs like the Heavy Metal Summer Experience are giving students hands-on exposure to trades like plumbing and welding. This free summer program, hosted by contractors, introduces high schoolers to the trades and often leads to job opportunities after graduation. This year alone, the program will enroll 900 students across 51 locations nationwide.
The Heavy Metal Summer Experience is giving Penta Senior Billy Graffius exactly what he needs.
I like being hands-on and all that, and I don't really want to go to school for 4 years, get a paper that just says I did something. Well, I'd rather be working money, not being in debt.
Graffius is going into his senior year at Penta Career Center, where he studies welding. And he says camps like Heavy Metal will help secure his future after graduation.
You gotta stop smiling in my picture.
Molly Rohrbig travels from Cleveland to help teach this class, and she's proud these students are looking into trade careers. Having switched careers herself after graduating from college and working as a social worker for 11 years, she argues getting a college degree and likely student debt aren't the only ways to get into a career.
We want to empower them. We want to encourage them. We want to get them excited about the trade. Health benefits are good. Retirement is good. The pay is good. You can raise a family on it. It's a wonderful career.
Apart from Rohrbig, Brianna Faulkner is the only other woman in the camp.
I'm rooting for her. Yes, it's mostly male dominated, but there are many, many women that are in the trades. I got into the trade when I was 34. It's exciting to see someone young get in.
Another example is Skills USA, a national program that highlights trade careers by hosting a big annual conference where trade students can showcase their skills. Since it was founded in 1965, it's been gaining a lot of attention from both students and employers. These days, hundreds of companies attend to connect with potential hires. Some employers even start recruiting students in high school by offering internships to build connections early. These internships often count for academic credit and give employers a chance to see how students perform on the job, making it easier to hire them after graduation.
The skilled labor shortage is a challenging problem, but with new programs, partnerships, and a fresh focus on trade careers, there's hope for the future of these essential industries.
Hey, I'm Kirsten from Switzerland.
This is Wayne from Tucson.
Hi, my name is Desmond from Ghana.
I am Claudia from Dawsonville, Georgia.
I'm Mikey from Pretoria, South Africa.
Hi, I'm Steve McGrath, Fort McMurray, Alberta, Canada.
People from all around the world are coming together.
Happy day, beautiful world. We are here in a rather small urban garden, and this video is just to show you the joys that we've had in this garden with the electric gardening.
When news happens in their area, they show us what's really going on.
We have people in the streets protesting for and against.
At United Network News, our field messengers are changing the face of news.
This is Field Messenger Helen reporting with Nature, and I'm going to talk to you about the bees again.
Take the next step in restoring our planet. Become a UNN Field Messenger today.
Hi, I'm Stephanie from South Africa. If it's going to be, it's up to me.
If it's going to be, it's up to me.
It's up to me.
It's up to me. It's up to me.
It's up to me.
It's up to all of us. We're UNN, and we're taking back the news.
Step into a world of possibilities with New Earth, a groundbreaking series that shines light on holistic ways to live, work, and thrive. Join us weekly to discover new innovative ideas and explore the world around us as we, together, create our future, our New Earth.
The southwest of Tasmania is a hiker's paradise with majestic mountains and vibrant local flora. UNN Field Messenger Amanda shows us the beauty of this natural wonderland.
Hi, this is Field Messenger Amanda, and I'm down in the remote wilderness of the southwest of Tasmania. Incredible backbone of wilderness, and this is all dolomite. Most of these are dolomite mountains, so they're really jagged and they're extraordinary to climb over. Now, Lake Pedder was flooded. It was this magical place about 1970s, and then it was flooded for hydro. So this is how it looks now. If you can see coming around over here, the whole of these beautiful mountains were completely flooded, and the lake was a most beautiful lake. And all of these are areas where people who are really intrepid, like myself was many years ago. But if you just look over there, there's a bit of sun highlighting what the Dolomite looks like. It's that sort of, it's not white, but it's pinky grey, and that's on those mountains over there. Maybe sources on our side here. Look at this. Oh my God. And then where we are standing right now is probably the most biodiversity we've seen on mountains in Tasmania. And they're all around us, all these flowers. And what has happened here in Australia is that Tasmania is part of Gondwanaland, and it broke off from the mainland, and it drifted down, and it was the rocks here are dolomite, and that's what makes this place so special. Is it's exotic, it's wild, and it's really hard to access unless you're walking. This is Amanda signing off from Southwest Tasmania.
Denmark's National Postal Service, PostNord, has announced it will stop delivering letters by the end of 2025, though package deliveries will continue. With fewer people sending letters, the business has been losing money, making it unsustainable, according to the company's CEO.
This decision isn't just about cutting losses. It also comes with a big impact on PostNord's workforce. Around 1,500 employees are expected to lose their jobs, though 700 of them might transition into other roles within the company. The chairman of the HK Union acknowledges these changes are tough, but may be necessary to secure jobs in the long run. For the 271,000 Danes who depend on physical mail for things like hospital appointments, municipal correspondence, and banking, this is a big blow. Sending a letter already costs nearly €4, which is a steep price for seniors, rural communities, and low-income families. With fewer mailboxes and no more stamps, accessing postal services, especially outside of major cities, is about to get even harder.
The state-run PostNord agency has announced an end to letter delivery in Denmark. By the end of 2025, 1,500 of 4,600 staff will be made redundant, and during the second half of this year, circa 1,500 post boxes will be removed. Danish letter volume has dropped by 90% since 2000 AD, and it fell 30% during 2024 alone. The 400-year-old postal service will be restricted to parcel deliveries from the start of 2026.
To help with the shift, Denmark's government is stepping in with 600 million kronor, or nearly 63 million, in compensation for PostNord. The famous red mailboxes will slowly disappear, but that doesn't mean sending letters is gone for good. Logistics company Dow is planning to step in to take over. However, according to Uni Global Union, a global union federation with affiliates in 150 countries, Dow has had trouble handling personal mail in the past and relies heavily on precarious labor, raising questions about whether they can really handle the job. Some critics are even worried this could lead to a private monopoly on such an essential service.
Following the discontinuation of PostNord's letter services, other private companies are expected to assume responsibility for mail delivery, particularly in remote and island communities. Additionally, PostNord will allow letters to be sent as packages via their parcel shops, providing an alternative for those needing to send physical mail. Denmark's move reflects a broader trend across Europe, where postal services are adapting to declining letter volumes and increasing digital communication. Germany's Deutsche Post has announced plans to cut 8,000 jobs, and the UK's Royal Mail is considering reducing the frequency of letter deliveries.
The end of letter deliveries in Denmark raises important questions about the future of communication and the role of traditional postal services in an increasingly digital world.
Research from UNI Global Union warns privatizing essential services often leads to higher costs, slower delivery, and poor working conditions, ultimately worsening the situation for all. While Denmark's postal changes are significant, PostNord has reassured customers that letter delivery in Sweden, where the company is 60% owned, will remain unaffected.
In Norway, government regulations have greatly affected the supply and demand for eggs. This has led to empty shelves and higher prices. UNN Field Messenger Veronica and Emma explain the reasons behind this situation.
Hi, this is a Field Messenger report for UNN. And we are Veronica and Emma reporting from Norway about the egg story, or we call it the egg scandal. The first phase of this story is egg production in Norway. In 2022, the government started to pay farmers to shut down egg production because a company called Nortura said that the forecast was there would be too many eggs in the Norwegian market. So just to explain, Nortura is a collaboration of 15,500 Norwegian farmers offering meat, egg, pigs, other products from Norwegian livestock. When this happened, they commented that Norway has salmonella-free eggs. Why not export if there's too much production? So this sounds like politics and not reason. The second phase of this story was in 2023, when they started gender sorting eggs by killing male eggs before they hatch. They scanned the eggs and found male ones and just dropped them. Some say this is a more humane way of treating eggs and chickens. So previously the chicken was hatched and then the male chicken was sent to the assembly line and sent like straight into the grinder. The third phase of this story are that imports from the European Union are more important to the government of Norway than self-production. So in 2024, the chicken laid eggs for a longer period of time than normal to increase production, and the prices were increased by 2.50 Norwegian crowns in July. There was also an increased direct sales of eggs from farmers to people. Then in February this year, 2025, the egg scandal happened in Norway. It was caused by elevated levels of vitamin D in eggs and chicken, and this is according to Norwegian Food Safe Authority. The problem was chicken feed with too much vitamin D, and the danger were potential food poisoning. And the result of this scandal was that 60,000 chickens from 9 different manufacturers in Norway were killed because of too much vitamin D in the feed. And the latest update is that the report says that the scandal reveals several internal errors. A series of misconception caused 60,000 chicken and 2,800 pigs to be killed, and almost 11 million eggs were recalled from the market. The company acknowledged that the organization has failed and promised improvements. So we can discuss what happened and what didn't happen, but our conclusion is that this is the same story repeating itself with just another reason for the disaster. The end result is the same: empty eggshell, higher egg prices. In Norway, it resulted in more people wanting to buy directly from the local farmers, and this is a positive development. Okay, hope you liked the report. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.
Are you ready to change the world? Take the next step and join our weekly Field Messenger meetings. Learn more at unitednetwork.earth. I am United Network News, and so are you.